What's going on, guys? Thank you so much for joining me today, and thank you so much for leaving all these comments on my last video about the X-H2S and the issues that I've had. And thank you so much for all the recommendations and suggestions on what I could possibly do. Some people have said roll back the firmware, but I kind of don't want to try that. I feel like it's a little bit risky. I feel like there's a reason why Fujifilm doesn't want you to roll back the firmware. So I'm just going to leave it as is and hope and pray that I heard in July Fuji will fix this issue. So we will see what happens. In the meantime, I'm not going to lie, I have been really looking at what is out there. Right now, the FX3 seems to be like a complete package. It seems to be like a super workhorse. It seems to be like it's really, really good in low light, which is great because I do a lot of low light work. I work with a lot of like fine dining restaurants, and a lot of those are very dim lit, and it would be really nice if I could have something that is really good in low light. X-H2S is really good in low light, but with all these issues that I'm having, I have to look at something different. I have considered other cameras. I have looked at the Panasonic options that are out there, which are great. The S5 Mark II, the S5 Mark II X, both really, really good cameras. But I just feel like there are like certain limitations. Like I need frame rates. I need 4K 120. The S5 Mark IIs have 4K 60, and I just need higher frame rates. And then of course I also looked at the Z8. I thought the Z8 was like a real complete package. It just looks like it has like everything. Just like Nikon just threw everything at this camera, and it just seemed like it was just everything perfect. But then I started looking at reviews and how the camera performs in video in climates like where I live. I live in South Florida, so I need something that is reliable in this heat, as I do a lot of work outside. So I need something that's going to be reliable. So I'm kind of stuck with something that has a fan inside of it, or something that I could attach a fan externally somehow. So it looks like the Z8 is not going to be it. I saw the GH7. That camera is really awesome. It just looks like it has everything. Like Panasonic just took everything and they threw everything in it. The ProRes RAW, incredible that it has that option on a camera like that. The only thing that I think it will be lacking is low light performance. I've used Micro Four Thirds before, and they're just not as good in low light as like a APS-C sensor and a full frame sensor. And unfortunately, you don't really have a lot of lenses to choose from that can stop down a lot, like a f1. I've seen speed boosters, but then you're losing the autofocus, right? Or the autofocus gets degraded dramatically. So now I'm going to talk about what this video is really about. It is about the Z6 Mark III. And I'm not gonna lie, I mean, when I first saw that rumor, it just really piqued my curiosity, and I just started researching this camera that's going to be released tomorrow. So let's look at some of the rumored specs that Nikon rumors says this camera might have. So 6K, that's kind of no surprise. I mean, a lot of these cameras that are being released now have 6K, but it will do it in 12-bit NRAW, which is very interesting. I have seen videos of people using NRAW. Some people like it, some people don't, but very interesting. It's 12-bit, which that's awesome. It looks like it has a sensor that will be optimized for dynamic range and optimized for low light performance. And I must say, when I used to own the Z6 back in the day, that camera was really, really good in low light. I think if you use a lens like a f1.8 or even an f2, I think you would see how good that old original Z6 was. And I mean, the fact that they're saying that this sensor is optimized for low light performance, I feel like they're going to have some sort of like real dual native ISO on this camera, perhaps something higher, like 6400. That would be really incredible. I did see that one of the rumors was saying that the camera can do 4K 60 with ProRes RAW, and that is really interesting. I feel like that's something that is going to be rolling out in these newer cameras because the GH7 just got that feature, and now I'm kind of not surprised that the Z6 Mark III will have it, and I just feel like all the cameras that are going to be rolled out from Nikon, the just more higher end cameras are going to have it. I feel like even Panasonic is probably going to have it in their newer cameras that are going to be released, like, you know, the S1H Mark II is probably going to have ProRes RAW built in. One thing that I do want to discuss, and I find this interesting, I feel like ever since Nikon bought Red, I feel like, you know, and then they're coming out with the NRAW. I feel like other manufacturers are going to do that as well. I know that Canon already has a RAW, you know, option, but I feel like other manufacturers are going to release their own version. Like, you know, maybe Fujifilm is going to have FRAW, and then Sony might have SRAW, which would be really insane. You know, Sony having just like everything now. I feel like that's going to be happening in, you know, maybe this year, perhaps next year for sure. I feel like most cameras are going to have their own RAW version. I did read somewhere, I don't remember where, somebody said that, you know, every manufacturer, actually, you know what, I remember, it was the Red CEO at the time. The CEO of Red at the time said, every manufacturer has their own version of RAW, they just haven't released it yet. So guys, what gives? Please give us your version of RAW. Fujifilm, give us FRAW. Sony, give us SRAW. Just give us RAW, please. So overall, the S6 Mark III looks really promising. It looks like an awesome camera. If it has 4K 120, I will seriously look at this camera. But you know, I will also need to see how well it performs in hot environments. I don't want to have a camera that's, you know, now bigger than my Fuji, and, you know, has jam-packed with all the features and whatnot, but then it can only record for 15 minutes outside. We cannot have that. I don't want something like that, so I'm going to just keep looking if that's the case. But yeah, I'm really excited to see what Nikon releases tomorrow, and yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this camera when it gets released tomorrow. Really would love to hear what you guys think, and yeah, if you have any questions, leave those in the comment section below. If you want to talk more about this Nikon camera, I definitely would love to talk to you guys. I want to know what you guys think. And if you have any recommendations for me on what camera I should be looking at, I would love to hear your recommendations. I like to do video. I need something that works in hot environments. I need something that can, you know, do video really well. I need IBIS. I need 4K 120. I know it's a lot of needs, but it just seems like the Fuji had everything I wanted. At least it had autofocus at the time when I bought it. Now autofocus is gone, and I'm having this issue with overheating. So the camera is just really not usable for me at this moment in a professional environment. Maybe for just like what I'm doing right now, okay, but for paid work, I just can't trust it. So yeah, would love to hear your opinion on this camera, and let's start a conversation. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you on the next one.